this Barbara on a beautiful day. I asked Dennis what the temperature was going to be, and he said it'll get up to the mid-50s or something. It's already pretty comfortable. I'm wearing my Granito by Joji Locatelli, and well, I'm in the sun, that helps, but I'm very comfy. I hope you guys are all well. I'm out here with the girls. They're wrestling over there. I'll admit I did this one time before, but I was so rambly I couldn't even stand it, and that, you know, that's got to be pretty rambly. And I'm still having trouble with my hair, which I discussed, and you don't want to hear about. Just this one piece. It wasn't any story. Oh, I'm so glad it's nice out today. I'm going to be able to sit out here and work. I brought my, well, that was a shit idea to work on. And although I have to go in to process my vlog. I am worried this vlog is going to turn into just, you know, me whining and complaining about what a terrible sleeper I am, because boy, I slept poorly last night. But waking up to a sunny day that you can sit outside helps a lot. And to a cup of coffee. Did not do very much yesterday, but we did make donuts. I know, they don't really look like donuts. I don't even want to think about what they look like, but they were really good. These are keto donuts, so they don't have any flour in them. They're made with coconut flour and almond flour, so they don't have any wheat flour in them. We used our deep fat fryer, which Dennis uses to fry wings and bacon and things in, so that's why they're so brown, I think, because the oil isn't brand new. But he uses tallow, either lard or tallow, in his fryer, so they're delicious. There's no hint of bacon or wings. They're funny looking because I thought it just, there's, you know, I wasn't interested in like going through the cutting and whatever of round donuts, so I just made a rectangle and made it into little, and cut it like donut sticks, which I thought would work really great. So we did one, you know, like our test stick to see how long to cook it, you know, whatever. So, can you hear the woodpecker? Oh yeah, now he stops. Did you hear that? So I tasted it and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot the sugar. It only has 2 tablespoons of sugar in the whole batter, which makes 12 big donuts. And then it says it's not too late. So we sprinkled the sweetener on top of the rest of the rectangle. But then we had to knead each one to get the sugar incorporated and then make it into a stick, which we made them into kind of little logs. But then that turned out to need to cook longer because of the depth of them or whatever. Anyway, so we flattened them out. So they turned into donut patties, which is why I was telling you all this. They turned into donut patties, but they were really good. I made a glaze. I had a little bit of a glaze on mine. And later, Dennis made a chocolate ganache, and he gave me a little piece with chocolate ganache on it, and that was good. So we have glaze and ganache in the house for these. I took some over to my mother-in-law's real quick when we were done, so she would have them fresh, and she appreciated that because she's on keto with us. So, and we also made the batter for the white chocolate macadamia nut cookies, and so we will be making cookies today. Baking cookies. It has to be in the fridge for an hour, the dough, you know, so then it was in there and then we lost our energy to keep cooking. And we were full because we had donuts. So, That's the story of yesterday, except that by the time 9 o'clock came around, I was so bored. I didn't want to knit anymore. I split from my sleeves on my boxy. But I didn't want to knit anymore, and I didn't want to cross stitch, and I didn't want to watch TV, and I didn't want to, I was like a 5-year-old. Dennis and I had a little, you know, one of those things where you're just like annoyed with each other for 5 minutes, but I think that always makes us feel bad when we do that. We don't do it very often. And, I mean, it, you know, it wasn't a fight or anything. Just grumble at each other for 5 minutes. Matt could have had something to do with it. Well, I'm like, oh, MG, give me a break. I'm sitting here like a little kid. Mommy, I'm bored. I have Netflix. I don't want to watch anything. I ended up watching The Great British Bake Off. I've seen it before. Although, I must have watched it a really long time ago because I didn't remember these. Maybe I skipped some episodes. I don't know. So that's good. Anyway, so it didn't feel repetitive. I didn't feel like, oh, I've seen them make this before. And some of the things were, well, the first episode I'm quite sure I never saw. The second one I watched I might have seen, but I didn't remember. I didn't remember who won, so. I mean, when you have a bad memory, it's just like, you know, oh, a new show. So I watched that. And I went to bed very late with Dennis. Dennis is a late nut. My schedule is starting to coincide with his, which doesn't necessarily make me happy. But I'm not sleepy at night. So I go to bed and I lay there and I'm laying in bed over an hour every night. Sometimes 3 before I fall asleep. And then I don't sleep great, you know, every few days I have a really good night's sleep, and that's nice. But the days I don't sleep. So I went to bed late. I didn't sleep well. I'm tired, you know. I don't want to get out of bed because, So I got up today to make the tea. Just because I didn't want to be in bed anymore, and I wanted to, you know, get going a little bit. But Dennis's theory is you can't ever change your bedtime from the nighttime. You can't go to bed earlier because, you know, well, I can't go to bed earlier, then I'll be laying in bed for 5 hours. He said you got to get up earlier. You got to set your alarm and get up early, and then you'll be tired at night, you know, which makes for a zombie day, but I'm having zombie-ish days anyway. It's not like I'm getting a lot done. Although there are a few things on my list I could do today that would make me feel better, like I've accomplished something. Bake some cookies. Eat a donut. I'm not going to eat any until, you know, I don't eat first thing in the morning. I do time-restricted eating, which means I only eat between certain hours, and you know, I mean, and it's easy for me to do because I'm not hungry. When I'm hungry, I eat, but if I have cream in my coffee, I don't get hungry till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I eat between 3 and 7. You know, I'll have like a multi-course dinner essentially. I eat something at 3, and then I'll eat something at 5, and then I'll eat something at 6:30. And then I'm done. Some people call that intermittent fasting, but I don't. To me, intermittent fasting would be like just not eating for a whole day. Like eat dinner, don't eat anything the next day, and then eat dinner the day after. So it's like a 48-hour fast. That's what I think of as intermittent fasting. But some people call time-restricted eating intermittent fasting, and it just means that you go as long as you can between eating. Because your body, there are a lot of important processes that your body does when you're not fed, when you're not digesting. And so you want to give your body as much time as it needs to do those things. So that's what time-restricted eating is for. And several of those things help you lose weight, in case you were wondering. So it's easy to do on keto because you don't get hungry. But anybody can do time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting. You can look it up, intermittent fasting. And you can eat your same food. Some people eat in the morning. If they wake up hungry, and that's when they're hungry, they eat in the morning. They eat from, 10 to 2 or something like that. And then they don't eat again until 10 o'clock in the morning. But since I want to have a cocktail, let's face facts, my hours are always going to be in the evening, because it's basically, I'm cheating with the cream. It's basically you have all your calories within a shortened time frame. And I'm sure, I'm having cream in my coffee today. I do better when losing weight when I don't have cream in my coffee, but I prefer cream in my coffee. It's like my little treat after a bad night's sleep. But then I don't get hungry till 3 o'clock. So that's what we do. So I can't, I love to have like a little pastry or treat or something with my coffee in the morning, but I'm not hungry, so I'm not having it. I could do that if I wanted to, but I don't really want to because I'm not really hungry. So I'll wait till I'm hungry. Maybe I'll have a donut for dessert and make myself a nice decaf. Maybe I'll have Dennis make me a decaf cappuccino to go with my donut after dinner. Although I do worry that the cappuccino, even the decaf, has too much caffeine. I stop having caffeine at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I try to help myself sleep better. Maybe I should do a little research. I don't need a CPAP machine or anything like that. My problem isn't, I'm not snoring, I'm not doing anything weird. I just wake up a lot, but Dennis, he's not hearing any noises, and besides, I'm not wearing a CPAP machine. So even if I needed one, which I really sincerely don't think I need one, I wouldn't wear one. I would never be able to fall asleep. I have trouble falling asleep now. I just saw a presentation. I watch a lot of, food-related medical presentations and things from conferences, and somebody did a thing, when you lose weight, your tongue gets smaller. Your tongue has fat in it. And the speculation is, the speculation is that the rise of sleep apnea has to do with the rise of people's weights, people becoming obese. And, one of the places that grows is your tongue. And they're suspecting that that's what's causing or contributing to such a big increase in sleep apnea. I thought that was interesting. Well, it's interesting the things, when you lose weight, the things, Dennis's hats don't fit him anymore. He loves to wear hats. I'm not the knit hats, but, he has some beautiful hats. He bought a gorgeous, gorgeous Panama hat when we were in Ecuador. They're all too big for him now. So I have to rig up something, they all have that ribbon band on the inside, and I have to rig up something on the inside that I can put in that band that will change the circumference of the hats so that he can wear his hats. He only has one hat he can wear when it's windy. He used to have several that were tight enough that they would stay on his head pretty much if it was windy. The things that get smaller. I should try on some shoes I've had that are a little tight. I wonder if they, surely your foot wouldn't get shorter I suppose if you had fat on the end of your toe, in the back of your heel, in the end your foot might get a little bit shorter, but anyway, I thought that thing about the tongue was pretty interesting. And sleep apnea. It seems like sleep apnea is like, you know, maybe they just discovered it and now everybody gets diagnosed with it, but birds. Well, obviously I'm rambling now, so I will say goodbye. I hope you're feeling well and you're doing well and you're managing in this really tough time. I will leave you with my cacophony of birds and tell you please, please stay safe and stay sane.